Hey guys, welcome back. We have something super exciting for you today. We have somebody you've never seen. This is Dave. Say hi, Dave.
Hi, how are you?
He's the lead of our intake team. He is not an attorney. So we thought we'd get a different perspective from him, maybe ask some questions, maybe tell us some things that we don't usually always explain to you guys as the listeners, and let us know if you like this.
Perfect for me. I know very little.
Woo! Barracuda! Me.
Bad timing.
Do you know this movie yet?
Is it old school? Or
No.
Oh, I have seen this movie.
Please God, we must.
Sir, please get out of the vehicle.
You have a great night.
Sir,
Huh?
please get out of the vehicle.
Get out. You know what? Absolutely. And thank you for doing your job. I appreciate it. Also, thank you for releasing me upon my own recognizance.
Sir, have you been drinking?
Yes, I have.
See, and I have a really hard time watching any like lawyer TV shows or movies or
Yeah.
anything like that because I'm always like, it would never happen that way.
Right, it wouldn't.
Yeah.
Right?
So like he would be asking these questions. The officer would go up to the car and be like, "Hey, can I get your driver's license?
Right.
Where you're coming from? I smell alcohol. Have you been drinking?" They wouldn't be like, "Just get out of the car."
Right.
One of the reasons why the officer is gonna do what we just talked about, go up to the car, get their driver's license, figure out what are the answers to their questions. For one thing, you're soliciting more evidence. Like, where are they coming from? Are they coming from work? Are they
Right.
coming from a bar?
Right.
You're also getting them to speak more so you can hear more slurred speech on the video if possible.
Right.
And then the other thing is you want to go back to your squad car as the police officer, run their driver's license. That's chock full of good information. A, whether they're clear to drive.
Right.
B, if they have a warrant out for their arrest.
Right.
It could even tell you things like if they're a known gang member, a KKK member, if they're known to be violent, have mental health issues, anything like that.
Right.
And you want to call for backup. You're not going to pull somebody out of the car who you know nothing about
Right.
and then be alone there.
Right, he could have anything, any
Right.
kind of weapon or kind of charge at him.
Yeah.
Right?
I do like that he tried to bribe him with $100 though. I don't know if that works in the U.S.
But wouldn't that elicit another charge immediately?
Yes. Yeah, see? This is why we're having you here.
Right.
I've had
Looks like he's making admissions here.
That's a lot. I'm going to have to ask you to take a breathalyzer test.
So does that mean he refused the breathalyzer?
Yeah, right. Ranger Rick. Oh no. He's still in the squad car.
Oh, woo! Yeah! Look what I'm doing!
Now that's a
I have
felony.
this
Yeah, that's-
perfectly. This car is so
It just went to a whole
powerful.
nother level.
Oh,
Right.
yeah!
He obviously doesn't recognize.
Oh, wait, this is not my car. This is not my car. I'm never gonna my car.
He's going back. He's going back.
That's great.
Let's see.
Corbett. Okay, play it cool. Play it cool.
It's too late to play cool.
Notice. Not gonna notice. Control my breathing. I gotta control my breathing. Oh no. Easy, slow.
Stop the vehicle
Officer,
now!
are you in need of assistance? I'm back
Stop the
up.
vehicle!
I'm back up.
Stop the vehicle now!
I see you.
Stop the
No, I
vehicle!
see you.
Get out of the vehicle!
Hey, here's the good news. I came back. Hey!
Nice.
Not shocking, right?
No.
I mean, would that ever happen?
I mean, criminals aren't known to be the smartest.
Right. They're
individuals.
probably not that friendly though when
Yeah.
they steal the car, right?
Yeah, we always say don't go back to the scene of the crime, right?
Yeah, at least that quickly.
Yeah. So yeah, if you were his lawyer, do you think you could defend him on a DUI, or would you tell him to plead?
I think that'd be pretty tough.
Yeah.
That's a tough one. I think what would you do with that?
I don't think I'd ever want to show that video to a judge and try and argue that he was not intoxicated. So yeah, try and maybe get rid of the felony and then plead him out to the DUI.
Right. You could probably maybe get away from
Yeah.
stealing the car.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
Perhaps.
Right. Yeah. Fleeing and eluding, possession of a stolen motor vehicle.
Right.
Almost hitting a police officer. So assault on a police officer.
Right.
It's not good.
If that's his first time he's ever been in trouble, what would he be facing?
He could get probation. He
You
probably
think
would.
so? With
Yeah,
what he did there?
I don't think
Yeah.
he'd go to prison because, especially too, the intoxication does almost play a mitigating factor. Like,
Right.
you know, you usually don't like have all your faculties. The first thing to go is your judgment.
Really? So you could use that as a defense? Say, listen,
Yeah,
I was
like, I
out
mean,
of my
listen,
mind.
man, he was wasted, you know?
I didn't really mean to steal
Yeah.
the police car, but
You're like,
it seemed like the right
yeah.
thing at
I'm
the
like,
time.
Judge, you know what it was like to be drunk one day. And
Yeah, the judge.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I get it. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, it could play both ways.
You need to get the right judge, though. Probably,
Yeah,
right.
right, yeah.
May actually.
Yeah, maybe a
see
Southsider.
it.
Knows what it's like to have a few.
I'm just so mad at you because you're not wearing my gift.
Courtney Cox.
Gift?
Is that Courtney Cox?
What gift?
It's like, I love you gift. I left
She
you in
looks a
the
little
closet
different than the
for
last
you.
time I saw her.
Was the last time you saw her in Friends?
Yeah. Never that well endowed.
You did it.
Just sharing, you know.
Well, what are you doing?
I think we need some alone time, honey. So I'm gonna go take a cruise in your Bentley.
Don't you dare take my car, you drunken bastard! I own you!
I love you.
Oh,
It's got the open
it's a
alcohol.
bad start here.
Yeah.
That's a drinking song too. Little Leonard Skinner
Yeah.
here.
Open alcohol is always a sign.
Going pretty fast too.
What happened to you?
He locked me in the closet and left me to die.
Oh my God, he is deranged.
Didn't mess with me. 911.
Now, open liquor in the car isn't illegal in every state, right? You can have open liquor in some states. Is that true?
That I don't know. I know, like in commercial vehicles, it's legal here, like in Illinois. Like a limo.
Oh, like a limo.
Yeah, like a limo, for
yeah.
example, or like a trolley.
Right. In Illinois, if you have an open can of alcohol
Yeah, that's
or
not
a
okay.
bottle, it's not
Yeah.
okay, regardless.
Right. Yeah. I recommend too, like, if you're gonna have any alcohol, make it not accessible to you as the driver because they could try and argue like a screw top bottle.
Oh,
Even if it's
really? Even if it's right
closed.
there, you know,
Yeah.
within reach.
Yes, to have it in the trunk. And then some people will have like empty cans of alcohol. That's considered open alcohol too, even if there's no liquid actually in
Right.
them
What if you put
anymore.
it behind your seat?
Yeah, as the
But it's
officer's
still,
pulling up.
I mean, you can
Yeah.
reach it, but it's hard to reach.
Yeah.
Is that going to play?
Yeah,
No.
when you see the emergency lights, take your roadie sody and
Exactly. It's over there,
Right.
officer.
yeah.
All right. So,
And then we see in the police
so
report.
Illinois, no open liquor.
Correct,
I mean,
yeah.
regardless. Even if it's a passenger is drinking,
Yeah, that's not okay.
it's not okay.
No,
okay.
not okay.
All right. Well,
Yep.
that's
Good to know.
good to know.
Here come the party poopers.
Well, 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 I'll be damned. That isn't Paul Crew.
So what did I do wrong? Was I driving poorly?
Nope, nope, this car was reported stolen.
No. It's actually my girlfriend's car.
Shit happens.
Shit does happen. I mean, look what happened to your ears. I gotta ask you
probably
something.
not a
Does he
great
get
idea.
XM
No.
radio with those?
Insulting.
Don't
Actually,
insult
Get a couple of channels.
the
Right.
officers.
Paul Crew.
Another question though. Santa Claus. What's he like?
Santa Claus.
Boy, I hate to arrest a public figure like yourself, but hell, I don't think you got too many endorsement deals to worry about now, do you?
Now listen here, Mr. Frodo. Don't get short with me.
Frodo.
Don't get short with me.
I hope you got a lot of money for that game you threw, because that was the most pathetic thing I ever saw. Now, step out of the vehicle, Mr. Crew.
Don't you think I should pull the car over more? I could get sideswiped.
You sound like you're slurring your words a bit there, Paul. You been drinking tonight?
Absolutely not.
Now, that's kind of the first thing they look for, right? Slurring, your eyes, right?
Definitely. Eyes, bloodshot, glossy, watery eyes, slurred
Right.
speech, odor of alcohol. They also look at your movements. Like, do you have your driver's license and insurance ready? Or, like I've seen before, somebody's like very slowly reaching towards the glove box.
Oh,
if you
okay.
like fumble your documents, drop them.
Right.
A lot of people now have their insurance on their phone. So can you like easily navigate the phone
Right.
app and
If
pull
it
it up
takes
or
for
not? Yeah.
A while.
Or like a lot of times people will hand the officers things that are like not at all relevant, like a health insurance card card or a credit card or something. And then they'll be like, no, this isn't your ID. And then
Like,
they'll hand it
oops,
back like
man.
2 minutes later, like, this is the same credit card you just handed me. Yeah.
Kind of telltale signs.
Right.
And they typically wouldn't get him out of the car right away, right? Or would they? I mean, does it depend?
What I usually see nowadays, especially with like police departments, aren't like insanely staffed. I think how they used to be.
Okay.
Usually it's one individual driving in a patrol car. You're gonna pull
Right.
that vehicle over and determine if is this just like a petty stop or is my investigation gonna go further? And if it's the latter, they're gonna call for backup.
Oh, right. Okay.
But in this situation with two people, they already know who he is. They're seeing the open alcohol.
So they have
and-
enough to go on. They can
Yeah.
be like, hey, pop out.
Get out of the
Okay,
car,
Makes
yep.
sense. Makes sense.
Boy, back it up.
Oh.
Hey, you can finish that one. I got 5 more.
Oh, all right. That just went to another level.
Yeah. Also, doesn't seem like him and Courtney Cox are very happy together.
It doesn't.
Yeah.
And the fact that he just crashed her
Right,
Bentley,
yeah.
which that'll probably piss her off more.
Maybe they should just break up. Could have saved themselves a lot of trouble here.
I think they're going to have some time away from each other. It would appear.
When he goes to prison.
Okay, remain calm. How you doing? What's up?
And he's driving the wrong way.
Yeah.
I mean, how many things has he ticked off?
Right.
He's- right?
Apparently stolen.
Yeah, improper lane usage, switching lanes without signal. This is
DUI, reckless driving.
Yeah,
what
aggravated
else?
fleeing and eluding. If you're like speeding and disobey a traffic control signal, when you're running from the police, especially having the chopper there, like,
Right.
and if somebody like this that does have money, they're gonna try and get restitution for all this stuff. But
Yeah, I was going to ask that. I mean, like in this case, seems like he has 15 different offenses here.
right.
Will they just add them all up, or will
Yeah.
they just pick the most pressing
Right.
ones?
Yeah. At first, they charge them with everything, like
Yeah.
everything but the kitchen sink.
All right, so they'll throw it all.
And then, yeah, in negotiation, you could say, okay, like have them plead to the worst charge and dismiss the rest. Especially
Right.
if you get charged with a felony, any like petty or misdemeanor offense is really just going to go into the felony anyways.
Makes sense.
But a lot of times too, like especially in Chicago now, they're not chasing. And
So they just won't, because it's probably more dangerous.
it's
to chase,
dangerous for
right?
everyone. It's dangerous for all these drivers on the road. It's
Okay.
dangerous for the police officers. It could even be dangerous for the driver, which I'm sure you're the least sympathetic for, right? But
Mm-hmm.
it could cause them to continue to drive in excessive speeds and
Right.
stuff like that,
Right.
which you're more prone to.
'Cause it just escalates.
Exactly.
Right.
So they have the information that they need, like especially in this case, right? He's some sort of celebrity. I don't know this movie, do you?
Yeah, this is The Longest Yard. It's the
Oh.
old Burt Reynolds movie. They remade it. So he does go to prison.
All right, so he's a football player.
But then he plays football in prison, and he's really
Yes,
good
yes,
at
yes,
it.
I did see this.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
So they know who he is, right? They have
Absolutely.
the girlfriend's car. It's not going to be hard to track this guy down. So
Right.
why would you
So
put
just let him go, and then where's he gonna
arrest him
hide,
later,
you know?
get an arrest
Okay.
warrant. Yep.
What about the average Joe? They would let him go and then just track him down?
It depends on the jurisdiction of the police department. They're not chasing in Chicago.
Right.
Once they get the license plate information and stuff like that, they're gonna stop the chase because it's not worth. I mean, think about it too. Like in so many movies, you see property damage cars flipping, parked cars.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
Right,
it's like who's
right.
paying
Yeah,
for that,
yeah,
you know?
Yeah.
And the average Joe doesn't have the money to pay
No doubt.
back all this stuff.
No
So
doubt.
they're not going to chase and then just get an arrest warrant. We do represent a lot of people who call us after the police contact them and they say
Mm-hmm.
hey, I was going to get pulled over and I didn't stop. Now they want me to come in
Right.
and talk to them.
Right.
And then they get charged with fleeing and eluding or aggravated fleeing and eluding, which is a felony.
So with something this obvious, I mean, where do you start as an attorney? I mean, how do you defend somebody like that?
Once we get the evidence and review it, and if we see this and we're like, okay, we have absolutely no defense at trial, then we're going to go the negotiation route.
Okay.
So
Beg for forgiveness?
yeah, pretty much. And I mean, somebody, say like Adam Sandler, if he doesn't have a bad criminal background, he's a
Right.
football player. In this case, you could probably get character letters from people high up, like
Right,
politicians,
right.
maybe people in the NFL. If him and his girlfriend, got back together, she might write a
Maybe
letter.
she would,
Yeah, and says
yeah.
she doesn't want to press charges. She's one of the victims in this case because it's her car.
Right.
And then you basically ask the state for like the lowest that they might give.
Former Pittsburgh football star Paul Crewe. Crewe, you might remember, was the only man ever to be indicted on federal racketeering charges for shaving points in a professional football game, although it was never fully proven.
Now he's on the phone.
Do not get one more scratch on my car, or I will slit your throat.
That's a threat.
Now she's worried about the car.
Yeah.
You care about this car more than you do us. And how'd you even know there was a scratch on this baby?
Because I am watching you on TV, as is the whole country. Once again, you are proving to everyone what a worthless piece of shit you are.
Wow. Well, I hope they like this.
Dramatic.
Now that's why you don't chase, right?
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, that's a good example.
Yeah. Yeah, a lot of times too,
Wow.
the person who's drinking is totally fine in the accident.
Right.
He comes out with the beer.
Oh, he's in the Bentley, so they.
Start seeing other people.
That's one way to break up with somebody.
And that's probably true. They're probably usually the safest person in the
Yes.
car, right?
I think it's because when you're under the influence, it's like something like you're relaxed. Like
Right,
you don't
like
see it coming. So usually the person who's drinking is the person who has the least amount of injuries, which is a shame.
That is a shame.
Yeah.
Because it's the other people who get involved
Exactly.
unknowingly who
Yeah.
get hurt. Damn, Adam Sandler, I didn't know he was such a jerk.
That was
This I know, this one.
Where did you come up with a scam like that? Saw it in a movie once. It's incredible. So what happened? So the guy tricks some sucker into picking up his tab and gets away with it scot-free?
No. In the movie, they catch up to him half-mile down the road and slit his throat.
It was a good one.
Boyd.
Harry? What? I know this isn't the best time, but when you get a chance to pull over...
Are you crazy? I'm not pulling over now.
But I gotta go. What am I supposed to do?
Well, whiz in one of the empty beer bottles in the back. They're on the floor.
Oh God.
Get one of
I just realized what was about to come next.
Yeah, this is.
That was improper lane usage.
And it looks like he's going pretty fast too.
Yeah.
He's not really watching the road.
Right. Ew.
What? What's wrong?
It doesn't look very roadworthy either in the
No.
van.
So stop going.
I can't stop going once I've started. It stings.
It stings.
Come on. Hurry, 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 hurry.
Yeah.
Come on. Okay.
And those are in beer bottles. So that's open alcohol.
Right.
Ew, it's all warm.
Oh no.
Oh, yeah, radar.
Yeah.
Hold that one.
Speeding.
What the heck?
Hurry. I'm pitching it.
I'm pinching
Sorry,
it.
camel.
No, it's a cardigan, but thanks for noticing.
Killer boots, man. Pull your vehicle to the side of the road.
This would be a vehicle that's easy to track down.
Yeah. So there's no way they're getting away.
No.
License and registration, please. You fellas were going a little fast back there, wouldn't you say? You fellas been doing a bit of boozing, have you? Sucking back on Grandpa's old cough medicine?
Grandpa's
no,
cough
sir.
medicine.
No.
Yeah, well, what's that?
That's nothing, sir.
Yeah. Nothing. Yeah, well, you aware that it's against the law to have an open alcohol container here
what
in
we
the
said at
state
the
of
beginning.
Pennsylvania?
There you go,
Oh,
Come on,
right?
give me that
Pennsylvania.
booze, you little pumpkin pie hair-cutted freak. Come on.
Pumpkin pie. Ooh.
Oh,
Yeah.
now that would never happen.
You'd keep your mouth shut if you knew it was good for you, buddy.
Yeah, the officers smell it, but they don't usually
Yeah,
drink
they
it.
probably wouldn't drink it.
Ooh, he swished it.
Tic Tac, sir?
Get the hell out of here.
That would never happen,
No.
right?
Ew. Yeah, no. Sometimes the officers will just photograph it, say that they smelled it and they smelled
Yeah.
like an alcoholic beverage. Some officers actually send it to the lab.
Really?
Yeah.
So what about other substances? I mean, you know, if you're not sure what it is, I mean, what do they do?
So they typically field test it on the street to support probable cause, like potentially for continuing to search, especially if they saw
What do you mean
something
by
in plain
field
view.
test it?
Field test is like basically a little drug test that you could do on the side of the road.
Really?
Yeah, we
Okay.
actually did a whole YouTube video with James and Derek
Okay.
and I talking about whether or not they're reliable, and they are not reliable.
Okay. Right.
And they're not admissible at court for trial, but they could be admissible to show that the officer had like probable cause
Oh,
to
right, to
arrest,
do-
take next steps, whatever
Right,
the case may
right.
be. And then they would take that into evidence and send it to the lab.
Right,
And
they
then we
would
get the
confirm
lab
it
report
or-
thereafter.
Okay.
So that happens a lot. Like, say if basically your felony charge is possession of a controlled substance like cocaine or something like that,
Mm-hmm.
in order for the state's attorney's office to give you a preliminary hearing, we have to get that lab back.
Right.
And it takes a while. I mean, if you could think of every single time, like in the state of Illinois, a drug is found just in maybe one day,
Right.
and then sent to the Illinois State Police Crime Lab, and then they have to process that all within 60 days
Right.
and send us back the report.
So do they have to send so they make an arrest if there's marijuana, cocaine, whatever it is, everything has to go through a lab.
Right. In
Okay.
order for
So then
the
the
prosecutor to meet their
verify.
burden.
Okay.
And then think about the lab too. It's not just like drugs and alcohol, it's any violent offenses, fingerprints, any blood, DNA.
Mm-hmm. Right.
It could also be gun evidence, you know.
Right.
Yeah, sending like a gun there. They do like bullet trajectories. I mean,
Right.
yeah.
So typically, like in this case, he would have them out, probably handcuffed, and then he would probably search the car. I'm
Yeah,
assuming,
I don't
right?
think
Or
that
the
they would
van.
just
I
let him
mean,
go after just
Yeah, they're
drank
probably
coffee.
not letting him go,
Yeah.
especially after he drank the urine.
Right, yeah. I don't think
Yeah.
you'd be too happy with them. Like, just get out of here, but.
So
you're right.
in all seriousness, what do you recommend to people? I mean, I've heard it always, like don't take the breath test, don't do the field test. Is that legit?
Yeah, I do not recommend doing the field sobriety tests.
Okay.
They are difficult to do.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of different things play a role too, like your age, your weight, your fitness level.
Right.
If you have any pre-existing conditions with like your back, your legs,
Right.
your knees, your ankles.
So you have a bad leg or something, and then you're wobbling. And,
Exactly.
right?
I saw one for an existing client, and they made him take his sandals off, so he's in socks and he's like literally standing like in gravel.
Right.
So that's the other thing too. Like, you don't know as a citizen that it's supposed to be a level, dry area free of debris.
Totally.
Yeah.
Right.
So like you stepping on a rock could
Yeah,
cause.
I mean it hurts.
Yeah.
Right. You move.
Right. And then whatever you do, like the indicators of impairment, say on the walk and turn, are if you step off the line, and that's an imaginary line that you, the suspect, are imagining. If you don't step heel to toe, if you raise your arms, and any little thing that you do that way, even if it's only once out of the whole test, you get an indicator.
So they can pick that, and then
Right.
boom.
Exactly.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
And if you don't do it though, are you admitting guilt?
No. What can be argued at a trial if you don't do the fields or don't blow is that shows a consciousness of guilt on behalf
okay.
of
All right.
the suspect. But that argument is not as strong as you not giving the police all this evidence to use against you.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense.
Because that's the only thing you're doing is giving the officers evidence to use against you. If you think about it, you're out there for another 15 minutes. You're supposed to be like balancing, standing on one leg, all this kind of stuff. And meanwhile, you're talking to the officer more. The questions that you might be asking might not sound like super coherent.
Right.
You also have to count, like the 1,000, you know, so you could miss a number and then you're like,
you're probably nervous. I mean, like,
100%.
It's never happened before, and
Yeah.
say you had one beer,
Right.
and you're just nervous, and you're a fast talker, and you're,
Right.
you know, so you
Yeah.
mess it all. You've given them all that evidence that they can use against you
Right.
when you didn't have to.
Yeah, a lot of times too, if you think about, say, somebody that's not a U.S. citizen here, somebody that doesn't speak English as their first language, you're on, say, the side of the expressway and
Right.
semi-trucks are barreling by 80 miles per
Totally,
hour. You
yeah.
know, all of these things can affect your performance, but if you admit to drinking, then the fact finder is going to believe that your indicators are because you're under the influence and not
Right.
because of all these different things. But yeah, I can't imagine like not being a U.S. citizen, being concerned about being deported, getting pulled over by
Right,
the
you
police,
don't-
not speaking English.
Exactly.
And they
you know,
don't-
it's unfamiliar territory, all that kind
Exactly.
of stuff.
Yeah, and sometimes people are afraid to say, I'm not going to do what you're asking me because I think they're afraid of maybe getting hurt.
Well, yeah, I mean, I know how I was raised. I was always said, you know, listen to police officers, and, you know, somebody in authority. So you want to comply.
Right.
Or at least that's the gut feeling. but,
Right.
You know?
I know. I think that a lot of kids have been taught that. And I think when you truly are a kid and you're not doing things illegally, like that's definitely true.
Right.
But when you start to grow up, I think the better conversation is the conversation about
Right.
knowing your rights.
It seems to have changed a bit recently.
Yeah,
In the past
I think
5,
so
10
too.
years, for sure, right?
The other thing is you have to think about who are you in this interaction with the police. If you're the victim, right? Like if your home was broken into, something was stolen from you, then of course, like cooperate with the police, tell them the whole
Right,
story
right.
100%, right? Because the police are your friends in that situation. They're trying to help you. But if you're the suspect of a crime,
Right.
then you should exercise your rights to remain silent. Don't consent to searches.
Right.
Don't consent to fields.
They're not stopping you just to say hello.
Right, yeah.
They're not stopping you to welcome you to Naperville
Yeah,
or wherever you
right.
are. You're a suspect. They're looking for guilt.
Yeah. And a good police officer, if they don't have much to go on, maybe just an odor, and you say politely and respectfully, I'm not going to do anything, they might say to themselves, I don't have enough probable cause. I'm going to write this person a ticket and let them go.
Right.
I mean, again, we don't condone drinking and driving, take an Uber, but if you are ever in this situation, which obviously a lot of our clients are, this would be the
Right.
advice.
So
we
that's the okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah,
That's
cool.
good. That's
Yeah,
good.
thanks for doing this with us.
No,
Yeah.
hey, my pleasure. Always fun.